Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the premiere for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 12 tonight. In this one first, we're going to do some death predictions for the finale for Season 8. Which characters will be killed off before the end of this season? And spoiler warning if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to episode 11. Done some recent videos last couple days for you guys. Some cool news for Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. And we'll get into some of those questions after we do our sort of quick death predictions for this finale or top picks, which is kind of what I'm kind of going towards now the last couple years because they've added so many characters to The Walking Dead. It doesn't make sense every time to go through a list of every single one. You know, when they only had a dozen characters in the show, like in Season 2 or Season 3 or whatever, it was pretty easy to list everybody, you know, who's in the series and say, like, okay, you know, these characters are all safe, these characters will be killed, that kind of thing, and do your predictions that way. These aren't spoilers, these are just predictions, so, you know, we could be right, we could be wrong. It's what it is. They're not based on spoilers or anything like that. It's just based on the way the story's developing and what we're seeing, you know, going into episode 12, and as we get closer to the finale for this season. They have announced that they're going to do The Walking Dead Season 8 finale in some select theaters. If you guys missed that video, I did it on Friday night. It's Survival Sunday. It's the combination for The Walking Dead Season 8's finale, Fear the Walking Dead Season 4's premiere, and they're going to be showing that in some theaters. So I've seen a lot of comments from you guys. It looks like quite a few of you guys are able to go see it, so for you guys, I'm really happy. Some people asked, let's see here, you know, House Stark said, Trev, are you going to go? So are you going to go to the theaters to watch The Walking Dead Season 8 finale, Survival Sunday, Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 premiere? And I wish, brother, but the thing is, I checked and they don't have it in my city. So I'm not sure about other cities in Canada, but where I live, no, they're not going to carry it. They're not going to have it yet. So here's to hoping in the future, one day we can see The Walking Dead on the big screen. You know, for those of you guys who are going to get to see Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead Season 8 finale on the big screen, you know, enjoy the hell out of that, guys. I'm hearing from people it's only like $10. So for those of you guys who are going, I'm super jealous, and have fun and, you know, be happy and have a good time. You know, I wish I could be right there with you. So it's what it is. So in terms of like my top picks for who I think is going to be killed off in this finale, and I've kind of alluded to some of it in the you know, the Q&As as we've gone through here. We've got episode 12 coming up tonight. So we have 5 episodes left, including that one to the finale for The Walking Dead Season 8, including the finale, and then we get right into Fear. So, but for The Walking Dead Season 8, who's going to be killed off, who's going to survive? So, I think we can say right away the easiest one to call is that I was wrong about Morgan. I really did think Morgan was going to be killed off this half. I thought that's where they're going with that, but it looks like it was maybe a psych out or one of those where he says he doesn't die, and he was right, you know, because, of course, he's going to be in Fear the Walking Dead, so we're going to see him cross over into Fear, you know, which means to me, even if it's some kind of flashback or something, Morgan's safe from what it looks like. So that's what that is. Good news for Morgan fans that Morgan is going to be used even more than he ever was in the comic book series, and that we're going to get to see him in Fear, and he'll probably survive out this season. So my top picks for characters I think will be killed off, I'll go like this. Number 1 for me is going to be Simon. I think that Simon, after kind of how he's established himself as such a badass villain this half by killing off, you know, the entire junkyard group, minus Jadis, I think that he really has himself you know, set up here, and it's a perfect setup to see him be killed off, you know, at the end of this season or some point pretty soon. And also because after the war is over, if the survivors are to win and Negan is to survive, I really cannot see, after what Simon has done recently, them just allowing him to be there with the saviors. Because when Negan is taken out, you know, Simon has shown that he might even be worse than Negan. So if you take Negan out and you leave Simon there, he's going to take over the Saviors, and it could be nasty. You know, it could be like even worse than All Out War, because if Simon leads with an iron fist and is willing to just kill people left, right, and center, even more than Negan did, he's going to be super feared, and he's going to be something to fear. It's going to be like Negan 2.0. So I don't think that any which way you go with the story here, Simon can be redeemed at this point. I think he's killed too many people. He's shown that he can be very callous and cold, and even though he puts on a nice front at the beginning, it seems to me like it's pretty much entirely an act at this point, and he's kind of just doing what he's supposed to do. But given the situation, given the set of circumstances that he's under, if he didn't have Negan there to keep him in check, I think he would just go on a killing spree. So I think that one way or another, you have to have Simon be killed off this season, going into season 9, unless we see some kind of major shift for the character. But just with all this kind of setup, the way I'm seeing this here, I'm really thinking that Simon will probably be gone at the end of the season. I think he'll either be killed by Rick and the survivors, or maybe somehow Jadis will get her revenge on him, possibly sacrificing herself to do it. We're going to have to see what happens with that. But in some way, shape, or form, Simon is my top pick to be killed off this half, especially after the massacre at the junkyard. So there's that one. The other one that's another top one for me is going to be Tobin. He's one that I've been predicting to be killed off for like 3 or 4 years now, a long time. And there's a moment in the comics where Nicholas, who was still alive at this point in the comics, is slashed in the back with a contaminated weapon by one of the saviors. And in the TV series, I'm just looking through the characters here, and I'm saying, like, who is most similar to Nicholas? So it's probably going to be somebody from Alexandria. It's probably going to be one of the survivors from there. It could be Scott, too, but I think that death will probably go to Tobin. I do, just because... I also don't see a relationship between him and Carol kind of continuing here. They kind of went with that for a little while, and then they sort of switched off. It looks like Carol will probably be with Ezekiel, so I think that Tobin, his time could be coming. Scott as well, too. You can really do both. I mean, his wife, Sonequa Martin Green, who played Sasha, is no longer in the series, so could definitely see him being killed off as well, too. Those are some of my top picks. And then we got to go with, Jared, Jared, who's one of the saviors with the long hair, who looks like a rat, who killed Henry's brother. Even though Morgan had lied about it, he did. So I'll be wondering if maybe he'll say something to Henry, and Henry will, get him somehow, or cause some mischief, cause some trouble, and maybe some of the saviors escape or something like that happens before the finale. I don't know, but I do expect to see Jared be killed off this season, because, again, he's one of those villains that's easy to hate. Everybody hates him, and we all want to see him get what he deserves soon. So he's a big-time pick for me to be killed off this half. One other one that's been discussed a lot is Tara. A lot of people really don't like Tara at this point. She's been in the series a long time, so if they decide to kill her off, it's what it is. But personally, I think they've kind of got a soft spot in their hearts for her, because she is a character where you could do some kind of bubbly, fun, happy stuff with. And, I think that they probably like having her around as a result of that. Plus, if she's going to forgive Dwight and she's going to be like, it's okay, Dwight, then she kind of has to survive at least past the part where she will forgive Dwight. But then, I think maybe in the next couple years, if it's not this season, maybe season 9, season 10, I think she's close, in the next couple years to be killed off. But again, I could be wrong. She survived a lot longer than I thought she was going to. I really didn't even think she was going to survive season 4, So, wow, it's been a while, right? So there's that. Carol, Rick, Negan, Dwight, Father Gabriel, Aaron, all these others I think are probably good. Father Gabriel's not doing well. His vision might not be the best, but I think he'll be around for a while still. Negan, I think, will survive in the TV series version. I don't think they'll kill him off, even though they could go that route, and the ratings might support them killing Negan, because his episodes tend to not do the best. If you look at, the ratings for his episodes versus Rick and the others, people seem to tune out right away if they see that Negan is leading an episode or is heavy concentration in an episode. Dwight as well, too. I did think for a while there Dwight would be killed off and kind of replaced with Daryl, but it kind of seems like in the TV series they want to have both. And, it's really looking like that's probably what they're going to continue doing. So we'll see. I mean, I always kind of thought they'd kill him off and have Daryl take his comic book moments there, but maybe that's too easy. So maybe you have both of them continue on. You do have the stuff out there with Sherry that hasn't been resolved yet, and Heath and some other characters like that. So I think Dwight probably will survive out this season. Plus, we did just have Carl be killed off in the mid-season finale there, so... or premiere. So, I mean, you really don't need to include that many major deaths in this end to really send home the point that this was all out war, because Carl died as part of it. That's what everybody's going to remember. They're going to be like, oh, season 8, oh yeah, Carl died, that's right. That's what's going to stick out to them, I think, personally, from the season, because it's just such a huge death. Even though it wasn't directly a casualty of the war, he wasn't, blown up by an explosive or shot down. still, it was during the war, and that's what people are probably going to remember. So Jadis, we'll have to see, you know, what they're going to do with her in the future. If she's not killed off, I'll be interested to see which group would she be a part of. Would she have to leave and go off on her own? Would she be able to join these survivors? Could be an interesting character to kind of see around other characters and use in the future, just because she comes from such a unique walk of life and a different angle that it could be just kind of like different to see her interact with the others and how she would fit in and everything. Because of that, you could see that as like a reason why they might keep her around, or you could view that as a reason why they get rid of her because she doesn't fit in with everybody else. So leave comments below for sure, guys. That's pretty much all I got for now. I mean, we got Gregory, we got Henry, we got Maggie, which again, whether or not she'll re-sign with The Walking Dead is another question. So we'll see what happens with that. But, that's pretty much all I got right now for all these, tons and tons of characters here. Of course, there will be lots of red shirts and black shirts and saviors, killed off during this final kind of last stand, they're calling it, battle for the season. But it should be really exciting. And for you guys, just leave a comment below. What are your top picks? Who do you think? Like, if you're going to do a top 3, who are your top 3 for you? Not spoilers, but who are your top 3 for you that you're predicting will not make it out of Season 8 alive? Just let me know. Write a comment. 1, 2, and 3. Who you think it'll be. And we will get into a few of your guys' questions because we might as well, since tonight is next episode, so we'll have a new round of questions coming in. And a good number of these are fear-related, so heads up for that, guys. But, it's cool. We're getting geared up. We're getting excited for Fear Season 4. And it kind of feels stupid to separate them, considering Morgan is literally in both. So, of course, the questions are going to crossover as well too. But for this one, Zombie said, "Hey Trevs, we have the first official review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 made by Forbes. Maybe you can tell something about this. It looks very promising." So I'll have the link in the description for that for you guys as well too. Eric Kane, I think is his name here. It's at least that's what's in the URL. So it sounds like they got to see the first couple episodes and they did kind of a non-spoilery type of review here. And it sounds like based on that, the takeaway that I got from it is it won't take that long, it looks like, for Morgan to meet with the Fear group, which is really cool. So that means you don't have to wait until the mid-season, finale to see the two groups intersect and meet each other here. They're going to go for it almost right away. And it does sound like from the first 2 episodes that the first 2 feel like one long premiere. So, they didn't give too much away in the review, but they think that it's really, really good, and even better than The Walking Dead. Is so much better than The Walking Dead. It's not even funny is one of the articles they've kind of have there. So that's what it is, and apparently the cinematography, which we kind of got to see a little bit of in that trailer I did a review for yesterday. The cinematography apparently it might be better than The Walking Dead. Just the way it looks and everything, looking like an apocalypse. The feel of the show, it really sounds cool, guys. It really sounds like Fear is going to impress a lot of people, and I'm really happy for it. I'm really starting to see a lot more people think of Fear as like the series to look forward to, and The Walking Dead becoming more of like that series that's been going for a long time, and people are like, kind of letting it go, and Fear is like the new hot thing that people are checking out. So this is like Bizarro World, right? I mean, to think that could ever happen after a couple years ago when all Walking Dead fans did was just hate Fear so much in Season 2 and even in Season 1, a lot of that. So it's just, it's crazy to see how things change, right? Things do change, and you cannot predict this kind of stuff. So, crazy stuff. Japan Tourist 360 says, "They're getting desperate. Showing a finale in theaters, and you have to pay when you can just watch it at home for free?" And it was a question. And this is the thing, you can still watch it at home for free if you don't want to go to theaters to see it. Personally, I think this is awesome that they're giving us the option to be able to go see it. I know HBO did this with Game of Thrones, which is something you could have gone and saw some of their premiere episodes for Game of Thrones in theaters. I think this is a great idea. They're expanding. They're trying things. That's how you're going to grow. You're not going to grow The Walking Dead further. It's just going to keep shrinking if you decide that you're not going to try things and you're not going to give it a shot to see how many people would be interested in going to see The Walking Dead in theaters. I mean, if it's got a huge fan base, so, if they tried, it doesn't work, well, at least they tried it. They got to try it. They got to see, if there's a possibility here, and then maybe if a lot of people, if it's a big hit, they might decide, hey, let's do a Walking Dead movie with some kind of new, a set of characters in a different location or something in the zombie apocalypse. Who knows? But, you do run into that problem we talked about, which is oversaturation, which you could even argue The Walking Dead with Fear might already be. And with 16 extended episodes a year. TreBeCa's Finest says, Trev, now with the Walking Dead universe and AMC are doing a one-night event in movie theaters, that we will maybe a Walking Dead movie down the road. So this is where TreBeCa had said this one. Would love to know your thoughts. So I would love to see a Walking Dead movie. You guys know I'm down for pretty much all of it, and that it'd all be cool to kind of check out. And the deeper they can get with the Walking Dead license, the more stuff they can do with it. I mean, it's all good stuff. You look at, what HBO's doing with Game of Thrones this year, which is nothing. So nothing. So you're not giving the fans anything. They got to wait for you to finish that last season, and I'm sure it'll be epic as hell next year. It'd have to be as good as 2 seasons put together because you took 2 years to do it. So is what it is. But at least with, AMC, as much as everybody hates on them and as much as, we all get mad at them for some of the stuff they do, being cheap or lawsuits or whatever. At the same time, guys, here's the thing. They're trying to give us what we want. They're trying to give us more Walking Dead stuff rather than not enough. And I think that's fantastic. So I really am excited for the prospects of maybe a movie being shown down the road. And as long as it turns out well enough, I think people would love to see it. And we'll see what this looks like. We'll see what Fear looks like this season. And man, pretty exciting stuff for Walking Dead fans that we still have after all these years. More content coming in the future. There'll probably be even more, and that's great, guys. That's awesome that they're giving us more Walking Dead. So, and you get to choose too. If you don't like what they're doing in Walking Dead season 8 right now, then you can say I'm looking forward to Fear because that's going to be hot, and I can't wait to see what they do with that. Or vice versa. I don't like Fear so much, but I love Walking Dead, so that's where I'm at, right? So is what it is. Dominic Ambrosio says, I absolutely believe the premiere for Fear the Walking Dead season 4 will beat The Walking Dead Season 8's premiere viewer rating. Everyone is going to want to see how the crossover happens with Morgan, and I really think that Fear the Walking Dead will be right up there with The Walking Dead as far as it goes with ratings. Maybe it can surpass Walking Dead 2. I can't wait, Trev, when I say I told you so. Okay, so you can tell me that you told me so if that's the case, but here's my prediction. My prediction for ratings is 7 or 8 million people U.S. will watch The Walking Dead Season 8 finale. 6 million... 5 to 7. Let's say 6 on average. 6 million is my median, my guesstimate here for how many people I think will stick around. I think you'll lose 10% or a little bit more to go from let's say 8 to 6. So yeah, you'll lose about 2 million probably in the second hour for people not wanting to see. But the fact you have Morgan going from one to another, it should be pretty close. It should be almost as many people watching Fear as watch The Walking Dead. But I don't think that almost anybody will watch just Fear and skip The Walking Dead because they're going to want to see how Morgan crosses from one into the other. But that's good stuff. You have to kind of see both. And for Fear the Walking Dead DVD sales, for Fear the Walking Dead Blu-ray and all that stuff, people watching Fear back, it just gives them even more reason to promote Fear and to get the audience to watch Fear if they haven't seen it yet all the way through so they can get caught up. So it's brilliant, man, every way for them. Very brilliant stuff. Random Stuff says, hey, Trev, who is that person walking in the field in the intro for The Walking Dead? I've always wondered. And apparently that's one of the people that works on The Walking Dead, real tall guy. I forget. Back in Season 2, he played this huge zombie, I believe they said, in some of the special features in 18 Miles Out. In 18 Miles Out, there's this big zombie that comes through the window with Rick and Shane, and Rick kind of freaks out when he sees him because he's just so big, right? Because remember, zombies are people, so not all people are the same. You get some guys who are 7 feet tall or 6'5". You get other people that are shorter, 5 feet, 5'2", whatever. So not all zombies are equal. That's what it is. And apparently that's the same guy who played that walker, and I think he's one of the producers or something like that. He's one of the background people involved with the show. I think somebody said, I forget who it was in one of the special features in Season 2 or 3 or something, who that was in the field, but apparently that's who it is. And it's from the Shane part where it kind of represents Shane as he's kind of coming back and he feels distant or he feels separate from the group, like he's wandering around in a field all by himself and he's just isolated, right? Or just cast out, right? I'm surprised they still kind of include that in the intro, but it's kind of one of those iconic, I think, Walking Dead scenes in that. It's really cool. So a couple more. John Barrigo says, TrevQ&A, when will the Whisperers arrive? Because we're getting pretty close now, and he says he loves the video. So thanks, John. We got to be getting really close now. We got to start seeing some stuff for the Whisperers before this season wraps up. I would not be surprised if we saw Episode 15, 16, we start to see one scene, maybe a post-credits scene in the finale. Some people have speculated if you go to the theaters, maybe you'll get an extra scene with them in it or something. So, it might be a reason to check it out there. I don't know. But we'll see. I think the finale, though, is when we'll see it. So, last one will be from Ryan O'Sullivan, who says, TrevQ&A, I know you predicted this death, but can you see a possible future where Simon does survive Season 8? Perhaps Negan falls to Rick and Simon escapes only to become the main villain for the next season. Well, they could use him as a villain later on in the next season. That's true. But I don't think you can have him as an ally. I think if he stays around, you have to have him be a villain and he has to be killed off, maybe season 9 or whenever. I don't think he should get the Negan treatment and be able to kind of be imprisoned or something like that, like they do in the comics with Negan. So I don't think that makes sense for him. And that'll be it for today's Q&As, guys. I hope you liked it. Write down your top picks for death predictions below. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, please do subscribe at the bottom. I'll see you guys back again tonight after the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 12. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you tonight.